Hello everyone, welcome back to my house. We haven't been to the studio for a while. I just like filming at home lately. I have obviously been working and in the studio, but I like being here. It's nice, you know? It is almost October, and that means it's almost Peachtober. I wanted to run through some Arttober survival tips. Even if you're not doing Peachtober, do my usual annual cheat sheet of the list before the month begins, in case you get stuck, in case you don't know what a word means, and also to get my own creative juices flowing because I feel like it helps me too. So, semi-selfish, semi-not selfish. It is for everyone. Let's make brunch and then we shall jump straight into it. I got a bunch of notes that I wrote last night. Yes, baby. This knife is not sharp. So I've got a bunch of notes that I wrote yesterday. Let me just try and find them. So if you don't already know, Peachtober is a month-long creative challenge that I host in October every single year since 2018. It was inspired by the Inktober challenge, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. It's essentially a challenge where we create and post every day of the month of October. So I make a prompt list and I release it in early September. So it's been out for a little while. And often I'll make this Peachtober cheat sheet so that if you're having troubles with the prompts or if you want to get started with brainstorming early, which I do recommend because prepping is essential, then you can, you know, and we can like do it together. So the way that I start brainstorming for anything is to look up like definitions of things like keywords in stories or briefs and stuff like that. I think it's a really great place to start when you're brainstorming. You don't know what you don't know. So essentially, like, I've looked up all the definitions and I've noted down the ones that I think could be interesting. So if you have a sketchbook and you want to start doing this, go for it. But I'd recommend doing thumbnails because I'm going to try and be fast. I don't want it to take too long. So the first prompt for Peachtober 2024 is daisy. I always like to start with a flower. I remember I used to be like, I don't like flowers. I hate flowers. I'll never paint flowers. I don't know why I was like that. Some of the prompts are pretty obvious. Like the nouns, there's an obvious thing there. The flower prompts are often very obvious, but there are like lots of different ways that you can go about it. You could draw the flower as a part of scene. You could make the flower the subject. You could draw just the petals, little parts of the flower, the leaves. You could create daisy chains and have them on a character. Then I started thinking like Daisy Jones and the Six. Fan art. I also like to think about like what sayings go along with the prompt. So like fresh as a daisy, I thought that'd be really cute. That's a more abstract way to think about the prompts. But something like daisy, which is a noun, is pretty straightforward. So I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's just what scale of the illustration do you want to be the daisy? Do you want it to be like the main part, or do you just want it to be a feature in the background, or someone's holding a daisy, or there's like a daisy behind the ear or something like that? There's so many ways that it can be depicted, which is why I love hosting this challenge, because I'm like always so excited to see what you guys do. Next is sparkle. So this one, I like when I was thinking like, how do I define this? I like Googled the definition and it said shine brightly, twinkle, glisten. And then I started thinking like, okay, the initial thing that I think of when I hear a sparkle, I'm thinking like something that's clean or a star or something like that. I'm probably going to go with the star. The stars have heavy motif throughout my work since the beginning of time. But you could also do something that glistens, like water, a river, although river is a prompt later, stars, eyes, etc. So it's just a roundabout way of thinking how you want to go about it. Is there a motif in your work that you use a lot that you could create a sparkly version of? And it doesn't have to be like cutesy or bright or like what you think of when you initially think of sparkle. It could be like lean into like a dark way. Like there's one sparkling star amongst a very, very dark landscape or something like that. Think about what your work is and like the world that it exists in and the vibe it already has, and how you can incorporate the prompt into your world. You don't need to change your work significantly, which is why it's so fun. Obviously, I have the upper hand because I'm making the prompt, so all of the prompts are going to be something that I want to draw. 3 is paw. I wanted to do this one because it was either going to be whisker or paw, because I wanted something that could be applied to lots of different types of animals so that you could draw an animal within the first few days of the challenge. Paw I chose because I feel like there's so many awesome options. And if you don't know what a paw is, it is an animal foot with claws/pads. Think of a dog foot, think of a little donkey's foot Also, I love a noun that could be a verb. So this is one of them. Paw could be the noun, the animal foots with pads and claws, or it could be a verb, which is to paw at something, to try and like get something open, to dig at something. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's the obvious, which is great. There's the less obvious, which is an interesting way to go about it, a little bit more difficult to depict, or doing both. I just love a fox, you know, or a wolf or something like that. Maybe I'll do that. Day number 4 is sky. So there's the obvious sky that we think of. It could be sky blue. You use inspiration from the color rather than a depiction of the sky or a landscape. You could isolate like things that are in the sky. So like thunderclouds or white clouds or a sunset or a sunrise or birds or branches of a tree. Like, the sky can be the setting for your work. You don't actually have to depict it. You know what I mean? Day number 5 is fawn. So I was asked about this. I think the person spoke English as a second language. So fawn could be a baby deer. I love a baby deer. If you followed me for a long time, you know I used to paint deer a lot. And I love like the spots of a baby deer. I thought it was a good opportunity to be able to draw the deer, to be able to draw the fawn spotted fawn texture. Fawn could also be a color, like I think it's like a light orangey brown. There's also the verb to fawn over something. So when I love the word fawn, like I was like fawning over this person, la 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 la. But when I looked it up, it sounded like so negative. They said it was exaggerated flattery, which I think sounds bad. I love to fawn over people I love. I love you. And I shall fawn over you. Although I'm not like trying to flatter you, I just want to shower you with love. Maybe I have been misguided with what fawn means, but you could do that. You could have two characters and one's like fawning over the other. You know what I mean? You could even have like a character with a baby deer, or you could do a mum deer and a baby deer, or you could just do a deer in a landscape. There's so many things that you could do. 6 is sketch. Was inspired by pencil last year, where I drew a character drawing from life, but you could use it as inspiration for the style of this piece. You could do a very sketchy piece. One reason why I would suggest that, especially if you're doing the challenge only in October as opposed to preparing beforehand, is it gives you like an easy day to kind of spend less time on the piece, because you're not going to be available every single day all the time. Like, you probably have a job, or you've got family or friends, XYZ, that you have to cater to, and giving yourself like an easy piece once in a while is like a good idea probably for your mental health. So consider that. But yes, it could be in a sketchy style. It could be the act of drawing quickly, a character doing so. Oh, I thought like being sketchy was interesting. Like, that's sketch. Like, that's dodgy. That's suspicious. Like, maybe you could do a character that was just a bit, how you going or whatever. Hello, gorgeous. Hello, baby. Thank you so much. A second host. So next we have Bud, which I was excited for. Every single prompt, I was really excited for this one. I wrote it. You could have something that's new, budding, you know, like they were a budding author, or they were a budding XYZ. Like, it could be something where the person's clearly like starry-eyed and fresh. It could be the noun, which is like the bud of a flower or a plant. And then I also thought it was nice because you could use it as like bud as in like friend or pal. Like, you could draw a few characters together. Like, I love, I don't know, I just feel like it conjures up so many images of like people preparing for an adventure, or you could combine them. That's the beauty of it. And sometimes I like to do that. Next is river. This one I feel like you guys know, but a river is like a body of water that's moving. To be fair, I actually don't know what a river is. Like, when I arrive at a body of water, unless it's like the ocean, I'm like, what is this? I don't know the difference between a creek, a stream. I know what a dam is, a river, like I don't know the difference between the moving ones, like the stream or the river. Someone else is going to have to look that up. You can Google that. I thought this is a good opportunity to delve into landscapes, but if you didn't want to do landscapes, you could do stuff that lives in the river, whether it be a fish or a what lives in a river, because I don't really know what a river is. I was going to say a frog, but like, do frogs want to live in a river because they'll float away or whatever? You could do river rocks. You could do ducks. Do ducks go in a river? I feel like maybe I'm thinking of a lake. You could do any flora or fauna that grows in or around a river. Also, I put this in here because River was a dog that we loved so much when we lived in Marrickville, and she died this year. So basically, when we lived in the warehouse, she lived next door, and she would like come over, and we loved her so dearly. And yeah, I just wanted to have a little homage to her this year. Sometimes the prompts are autobiographical, I have to say. Like, often when I have like a new book idea, there'll be a prompt in, like, I'm pretty sure Raccoon was, I think I did that before Bandits came out, or after Bandits came out, but like, there's always like connection to some of the prompts to what's going on in my life that year, so I just think it's like a nice little layer. But this one's less nice, but I'm happy to like honor her, you know? 9 is apricot. As you can imagine, love a stone fruit, fairy little peach, smooth little apricot. Maybe your character is the fruit. Maybe the fruit's alive. Maybe they're just eating a piece of fruit. Maybe there's a landscape with apricot trees in the background. Maybe you're just inspired by the color of an apricot, that like beautiful, not too bright orange. Do you know what I mean? You could do an apricot jam. You could do a table setting. There's a lot of ways that you can look at this prompt, and you could do the pit of an apricot. It's simple, but I think it can conjure up some very cute artwork from you guys. 10 is pixel. I always just want to put in like a very techie prompt, and I just don't know if it works for you guys. I love it. Do I love some of the pieces I've done when it's a techie prompt? No, but pixel's cute. This could be like sketch in reference to the style of work. You could do pixel art for this prompt alone, or anything that depicts a screen of some sort. So it could be a TV, or it could be a Game Boy, or a console game, or a computer, or something like that. If you're doing characters this year, it could be like a character using those things. Or I do think it's going to be difficult because it's not as cute as some of the others, and it's not as naturey as some of the others, but I just love I love the balance of both. Day number 11 is wheel. Obviously, you could do any sort of vehicle. You could do a machine, the wheel and the cogs and stuff. You could do it as a verb, so a character could be wheeling something, whether it be like a wheelbarrow or a cart or something, you know, but like wheel, you know what a wheel is, right? Right? So pixel and wheel are going to be together. You could always do like an abandoned cart or something like that. You could do a Ferris wheel, or like you could do a cartwheel, which I thought was cute. I love cartwheel. I love things that have movement, although it can be challenging. Number 12 is earth. You could do the planet. You could do the ground. You could do dirt. You could do earth as an element. So for example, you know how there's like earth, fire, wind, and water. Is that what the elements are? You know what I mean, right? Like Avatar, The Last Airbender kind of thing. I also saw, which I didn't know before, earth as a verb. And honestly, it's such a broad prompt because you could paint anything that exists on planet Earth if you want. Like you can take it like that and make it however you like. What's that puppy? What will I do? I just love a planet, don't I? I love a space scene. Always an excuse to do a space scene. Number 13 is cape. So this is another one that's skewed at characters. Do I want to do characters this year? Maybe. Basically a coat or jacket that doesn't have sleeves. It's what you see with superheroes wearing them, but it's also what you see like Little Red Riding Hood or someone a little mysterious. Like also cape being like a peninsula, a headland or a peninsula. I thought that was really interesting. I immediately thought of Cape Cod. I don't know what Cape Cod is though. Like I've never been to Cape Cod. Cape York. Is there anything else? Cape Town. Day 14 is Burrow. Burrow being a hole or home for like small animals, things like rabbits, mice, badgers, wombats. Pick an animal you love, or draw the burrow itself. It could also be a verb, to dig, to burrow under the earth. The earth? If you wanted to focus on characters, like to burrow under the sheets, like there's a lot of ways you can do it. I wonder if anyone's going to do any pieces of writing this year, because I don't know if anyone did last year. I do love it though. A thorough inquiry to burrow into like some work and stuff like that. So you could have your character like furiously writing on a desk or something like that. Up to you. I'm probably going to go with the home/hole for small animals because I just think it's so interesting. I love a cross section of the earth, and I don't know if I'm going to do it like that, but we'll see. Number 15 is lamp. The obvious definition is a device for giving light. You know, it could be a lantern, it could be a lamp like that. Lamp posts like in the outside, so you could do like an environment. Oh, this is the verb that was weird. To lamp is to hunt at night using a lamp. I don't know if you'd want to do that. It could be really interesting, like composition. Anything that's illuminated, to illuminate, is, I feel like, exciting. I love a glowy piece. Me just trying to get you guys to make the work I love to see. So my timeline is only work that I really love. Yeah, I'll probably go with a character like holding a lamp or something like that, you know, in transit. I love it. I love like light on a face from a single light source. It's always fun to paint. Number 16 is owl. An owl, nocturnal carnivorous bird. You know what an owl is, right? Use Google Images, you'll find. That's also a really good thing to do too. Like if you can't imagine what something looks like, just look it up on Google Images and see what is represented there and use that as a starting point. Don't just copy it, but like use it as a starting point. I think that's nice. I also thought this could be really symbolic because I think owls are super symbolic. They're very like about knowledge or intellect or wisdom. You could just have like a character that has owlish features. Maybe they're wearing a cape. Maybe their hair's styled in like two little like thingies. Number 17 is slow. So this is the one of two partner prompts. We've got slow and fast this year. I didn't intentionally include partner prompts last year, but then people were like, where's the partner prompts? Which ones are the partner prompts? And they also were like, oh, these are the partner prompts. Luckily, I'd put two words together that were similar, and so those could have been the partner prompts. But I thought that people didn't care, so I just like took them out because I just find that like I don't enjoy them doing them as much because sometimes I kind of sacrifice how exciting it is to draw for the prompts themselves. But I thought this one was a good one, slow and fast. I felt like you could do like quick, like fast or slow animals, like you do a snail or an ostrich or a cheetah or something like that. You could do slow transport. What's slow transport? Like a ferry, even though it's not that slow, but like it feels slow, versus like a rocket ship or something like that for fast. Fast food. I loved like they became fast friends. I thought that was really sweet. Oh, for fast, you could do like, you know, abstaining from food. Breakfast, you could do a breakfast spread. So it depends if you want them to be connected in some way or not. Like, do you want to do animals for both, or do you just want to do like breakfast for fast and do a sleepy image for slow, or taking it slow, or a snail or something? It just depends. Like, I like to make them connected, but if I was going to choose, I'd probably do animals. I'm so predictable. Okay, number 19 is Crocodile. I thought this was interesting. Rocket wasn't sure if that's his food. Rocket wasn't sure if I should include it or not because it is kind of spooky, but I really wanted to just see crocodiles on my feed. I do think it might be a little tough, especially if you have a cute style, but it'd be fun to push ourselves, you know? And animals are usually quite easy because there's a lot of reference photos and stuff. So if you don't know how to draw it, like, let's learn. So yeah, crocodile, the animal. I love the saying, in a wild crocodile, it could be two friends say goodbye. Maybe people dancing to the crocodile rock. A swamp scene. Or you could do something a little bit more abstract if you don't want to draw an actual crocodile. You could have a character with a crocodile tooth necklace or something. Number 20 is rest. You know what that means, like sleepy, peaceful. I see like a lot of sleepy, peaceful images. Taking a nap would be cute. Taking a break, like sitting on a stone, just waiting. A foot rest. I don't know. I feel like there's a few things, but I love a sleepy image, so I wanted to include that. And it's also 20 days in, so it's a reminder to make sure you're checking in with yourself if you're resting enough and if you're taking care of yourself enough and treating yourself enough during Peachtober. Number 21 is greenhouse. I wanted to do this because I wanted to draw like those glass buildings that were filled with plants. If you didn't want to do something like that, you could draw inside the greenhouse so it's not from the outside. I want to do it from the outside. You could do something to do with global warming, just a glass building. It doesn't have to have plants in it. People use repurposed greenhouses for different things. You could also just draw a house that is green. You can split those words. You can just, essentially, there's no strict rules. You can do whatever you want with these prompts. Wherever it takes you, do what you will and follow like how you want to do it, but like then just explain how you got there. Number 23 is party. So I love the opportunity to do like a celebratory piece, a piece with like really good energy and stuff like that. A party is defined as a social gathering, a party of travelers, like people, a group of people. It could be at a restaurant, you know, when you're like, just party of two. Thanks, honey. Political group. It could be used as a verb, to party. I really want to do like a group of people having a party though. Oh, they could be witnessing something, to be party to something, you know. I love to include the more abstract ones, even though I'm likely just to do the obvious ones, because running everything during the month is also another job in itself. So a job I love to do, obviously. But yeah, I just want to include it here in case it sparks something in you. That was 23. Okay, so I did these the wrong way around. 22 is village, which is defined as a group of houses. It's smaller than a town. And in Australia, we call little suburban shopping centres villages. Do what you will. It could be a scene in a village. It could be zoomed out in a village sitting in a landscape. There's a lot of ways you can portray. It could be a painting of a village in the background of someone's house, an environment skewed piece. Yeah, and then 23 is party. 24 is Radish, Rocket's little sister, aka my little sister, Honey. She got a Sunny Angel, and she got the Radish head Sunny Angel, and I thought it was so cute. The colors were just so fun, so I just included it this year. If you don't know what a radish is, it's a root vegetable. They're like red and white, honestly magenta-ish and white with bright green leaves. I might be inspired by color for this. I might include the radishes themselves. You could have a character harvesting radishes, you could have a character cooking, you could have a table spread of just radishes with stuff, a salad. There's a lot of symbolism in like ancient art, so like look into that, you know. Peachtober is a fun time to like look into how these prompts or things were portrayed back in the days. Apparently they were a symbol of good fortune and health, so I thought that was sweet too. You could just paint something inspired by that and explain why. Number 25 is stone. I love an excuse to put a rock or pebble in, and I was surprised that I hadn't done stone before. So if I have, I knew I had, but if I didn't, can't believe I didn't. I searched through my past Peachtober notion page and it wasn't there, so I was like really surprised by that, so I was like, put it straight in. Obviously the rock, mineral or gem. I think gems would be really fun to draw, like treasure. You could depict a building made of stone, like a castle. It's also like to stone something is to throw stones at something. I don't know if you want to depict that, but I just thought I'd say it. Then I started thinking like, oh, I could depict a stone fruit. I know we've already done apricot, but like we could totally do peach. We could totally do berries. You know, like how raspberries is technically stone fruit. Skipping stones. There's also the measurement of weight. You could do something really heavy like an elephant. That's a surprisingly versatile one. 26 is backpack. This is another opportunity to do a character piece. You could also, if you're not looking to do characters, there are options. You could do like the contents of a backpack. I did a painting called Adventurer Waits like many years ago, and it's essentially the contents of a backpack, the belongings of an adventurer. That's something that you could do for this. To backpack is to like travel with just a backpack. You could have someone scaling a mountain or hiking the backpack itself if you like, or a character carrying a backpack. It doesn't have to be like front and center. 27 is grass. I can't believe I hadn't done grass yet. It's a good opportunity to do an environment. A grasshopper, you could do, there's the term of like grassing livestock, like you put them out to grass, like you go feed them, you let them free. So you could do cows or sheep. It's a rugby term. I didn't write down what it meant. Oh, I think it's to like tackle someone, to like tackle them on the grass. You could do something sporty like that. I'm not going to do something sporty though. 28 is pony. So like the horse-like animal. You could do, there's also like a pony-sized alcohol glass. So you could do something to do with a drink, but I'm definitely going to do a pony. And we did cowboy last year and a lot of people did horses, or we did like, what happened last year? It was like sidekick or something. A lot of people did horses. So I was like, we need this again. There's also the term like ponied up, which is like to pay your debt or pay what you owe. I included pony in here because Rocket was actually, that was one of the names that Rocket was going to be called. So he was either going to be called Pony or Rocket, and he came out really fast. So they decided to call him Rocket. But Pony I thought is such a cute name. And if you're wondering if we have children, whether they're going to have a unique name, which is really trendy right now, obviously it's like almost a cultural thing at this point, because my family has crazily spelt names and his family has like really cool names. It's family tradition at this point. Number 29 is break, which is to separate in pieces. You could do breakfast, you could do a wave break, you could do broken skin, someone that's grazed their knee. It could be something sporty or something with competition or a winner, because it could be like a record breaking thing. I don't know what I've read. Breaking the law, that could be interesting. Breaking in a horse, but we've just done pony, so I mean if you love horses you can definitely do too. Dawn breaking, that would be a cute landscape piece. There's lots you can do for that, surprisingly. And they're not all like breaking a broken leg. That'd be interesting. Like someone with a cast. 30 is pearl. I didn't even write pearl, only reading the description. The hard, lustrous, spherical mass formed in a shell. You know what I'm talking about there, right? Like the gem. You could do like a pearl necklace. You could do a shell. You could do the mother of pearl. Just the colors that are found in pearls are really nice. Like pastel palette, iridescent looking painting. You could use like glittery inks or something like that. To pearl is to form drops. The water pearled on the windshield, blah, blah, blah. There's things you can do. I probably will do something with a shell or beachy themed. Or maybe like a necklace thing. We'll see. Or maybe just inspired by the color. That would be really fun too. Maybe I'll do like a little figurine made of pearl, but like not a physical one, just an illustration of one. And then last but not least, we have 31, which is spider, which is an 8-legged arachnid. You know what spiders are. I certainly do. I live in Australia. You don't have to do the spider itself. You could just put a web in the piece. It's a very, very good opportunity to do like a spooky piece for Halloween, because it is going to be shared on the 31st. It could just be a part of our environment, or it could be the main thing. I wanted to include it because I love drawing spiders now. Like since I created that spider for that book that I was that book project that I was rejected from, like I thought that was really fun. There's a video about that on my channel if you don't know what I'm talking about. But essentially like I pitched for like this young reader book and I didn't get it, but like in the process like I figured out how to draw spiders in a way that I like. So yeah. There's also the verb spider, to scuttle or scurry. I think this is a good opportunity to do something spooky. But yeah, those are all our prompts. Thoughts? If you have any other definitions of things or ideas, feel free to put them below. Make sure you let us know which prompt you're talking about though, because that'd be really confusing, although I'm sure we can figure it out. I thought I would do some tips as well for Peachtober if you're watching beforehand. Make sure you prepare, because I feel like it's going to set you up for a good month. Then you can focus some of the time on like preparing the posts and stuff like that. Half of the fun of Peachtober is like connecting with like the amazing community that like surrounds the challenge. I'm like so grateful for it. I'm like a proud mother, I feel. So I would prepare ahead of time, which would mean just like sketching rough ideas for each thing. You could start a few pieces so that you have backup if you want to take a day off, because your mental health is important. I'm always burnt out afterwards, even though like I love it, but I'm so addicted to the challenge. So I really like, for me, it's like a trade-off. Yeah, like take videos and photos of your process, because it's part of all the fun. When you're documenting your work, like if you're working traditionally, find a way to shoot it in a really nice way. Like whether it be like find a spot where you can shoot it in natural light, or if you have a scanner, scan it. If you've got a nice camera, photograph it with flash or something like that, just so that it like stands out on the feed. Because often I've seen that digital pieces really stand out, but like some of the traditional paintings that are really nice aren't getting seen as much because they're not like presented as well as they could be. I feel just participate. It doesn't have to be perfect. You've already got a lot to do, but that's just a little aside in case you're wondering. If you have any questions about presenting your work or how I do it or whatever, let me know. The reason I would take little videos of your work is because reels perform really well, and like I want you guys to get the most exposure that you can. Like people are on the lookout for artists to follow, including me, and so the more chance you give us to find you, the better. And everyone also, like, look at the daily hashtag. It's so fun. If you don't already do that, I'm sure you do, but there's usually like thousands of pieces every single day posted in October. It's so much fun. But yeah, I'm really excited. Are you guys excited? I've been excited since March. I was like, I wish it was Petersham now. So I've been like dying to do this since March. I'm so excited to come back around. Come find me on Instagram. I'll probably be less active. I'm not going to be posting every day here, although I kind of want to start posting shorts, but the resolution sucks. Like, can anyone teach me how to post shorts without it being such bad resolution? Not important. I'm going to do some brainstorming now. Feel free to come back to this video during Peachtober. Like, if it helps you, I'm so pleased. That's exactly why I make it. And if you don't need it, that's fine. But why are you watching it? Do you just like me or something? If you're not doing Peachtober, I'm sorry. I dedicated a whole video to this. I just want to say a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video as per usual. Squarespace, if you don't know, is an all-in-one platform for building your website. It is a one-stop shop. You can do everything that you need to run a business here. You can set up an online store, a blog, a portfolio. You can have your newsletter hosted on Squarespace. You can connect to a credit card reader and use your actual inventory on your online store in person in markets and stuff like that. You can do your invoicing on Squarespace. There's so much you can do. I love that it's all in one space. If that wasn't enough, like their themes are amazing. I love the way that my portfolio looks. I've always loved it, and I will always stand by the fact that I love Squarespace the most. It's the best. And if you don't believe me, it means you haven't tried it yet. If you haven't tried it before, go to squarespace.com/furrylittlepeach. You get a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. And what do you think about that? And we'll see you very soon, guys. I have another video coming soon. I just wanted to release this one first and give you some time. I know it's only a week and a half away, but I'm so excited to see you guys on the hashtag. Oh my god. Anyway, thank you for spending the afternoon with me. But for now, I'm going to do my Peachtober planning. It's sticky. Stretch. Oh. Bye, everyone.